Ladies and gentlemen, and now we will move to the next presentation from O2V, one of the largest advertising and public relations companies globally. Building a brand that is more meaningful, different, and salient has increasingly become one of the most important goals for many businesses. But how do we shift the needle on these dimensions? The sessions will give you a look into how MAD, O2V proprietary strategic and creative approach can help build brand power. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Mr. Soms Heis, CEO of O2V Group Vietnam. Please welcome him.
Hello, friends of the MMA. My name is Soms Heis, and I'm the CEO of the Ogilvy Group here in Vietnam. I've spent just over 40 years in the credit services industry, primarily with agencies like Ogilvy, but also on the client side as a CMO. What's kept me interested in this industry, what's kept me passionate about it, is one thing, and that is creativity. The art of creating value through imagination and original ideas. Now, creativity is a broad topic. So creativity to what end? And given this is the MMA, I wanted to talk about the role creativity plays in building brand power, because brand power is a primary KPI for many of the CMOs in the audience today. Many of you will be familiar with Kantar's Brand Power Index. It measures the three critical dimensions of brand power: being meaningful, being different, and being salient. That leading to brand predisposition and sales growth, and critically leading to share gain. And that's very much top of mind with CMOs at the moment as we come out of a COVID lockdown. How do we win the battle for market share? Now, today I want to share with you an approach that we call brand building the MAD way. It's an approach that I hope you'll find actionable and specific in terms of how you shift the needle on those dimensions. MAD is an acronym for meaningful, accessible, and distinctive. Meaningful being about meaning beyond relevance. And to help with that, you have your brand story. This is what you say and do as a brand. Accessible is about being easy to access anytime, any place, anywhere. Here you have your brand ecosystem, which is where you say and do what you do. And then distinctive. This is about being unexpected, but unmistakably your brand. And here you have your brand world to help you with that, how you say and do what you do. So those are the three elements that make up MAD. I'm going to spend a little bit of time now going into a little bit of detail on each one. So starting off with meaningful. Three aspects to that. Firstly, being relevant to functional and emotional needs in the category. And it's shocking to see how many brands are not clear on what the functional and emotional needs are, how those have changed. You might be doing a U&A every 3 years, but needs change much more frequently than that. And we've seen that with COVID. So how tuned in are you to the functional and emotional needs in the category, and are you actually satisfying those? The second aspect is meaning coming from being dialed in to the role the category plays within broader societal culture. We call it the culture code of a category. And every category plays a role within broader culture. Airbnb is a great example of this. This is a business and a brand that was born out of a shift in the culture code of tourism. Tourism used to be about mass tourism. It was about following someone with a flag. It was about jumping onto an open top bus, and it was about a selfie stick. But culture had shifted away from mass tourism. Mass tourism had almost become a dirty word, and it had shifted to the desire for access to more authentic local experiences. And Airbnb was born out of that cultural shift with a brand story about being about giving access to authentic local experiences. And this ad is a good illustration of that.
Don't go to Paris. Don't tour Paris. And please don't do Paris. Live in Paris. When you Airbnb in Paris, you have your own home. Make your bed. Cook. You know, the stuff you normally do. Don't go to LA. Don't go to New York. Don't go to Tokyo. Live there. Live in Malibu. Live in the East Village. Live in Shinagawa. Feel at home. Anywhere. Do your regular routine.
Je t'embrasserai, te parlerai, t'apporterai le réconfort. Allez, 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 viens. Non, non, where do I say? Le restaurant, la salle ici, bien que toi et moi, quand contre toi.
Wherever you go, don't go there. Live there. Even if it's just for a night.
Their Airbnb, a great example of a brand with a brand story that was on the culture code of its category. So that's meaningful. 3 aspects to that: being relevant to functional and emotional needs, being dialed into the role the category plays within broader societal culture, and being dialed into emerging pop culture. Great example of that is Bitis, one of my favorite brands here in Vietnam. Bitis has a brand story in a brand world that really is leading and shaping pop culture, as illustrated by this ad.
Đường phố thật xô bồ. Thì sao? Sống ở đây á, rồi cũng quen. Cứ phải lao ra đường. Mà đường phố không chờ đợi ai. Chỉ có mình chờ. Theo cách riêng của mình. Rồi tùy cơ ứng biến. Hối hả ngoài đường.
Chị chào chị em ơi.
Cảm ơn chị. Cày chết bỏ cũng ngoài đường. Cũng có lúc vui. Rồi la cà. Sáng tạo cũng ngoài đường. Chia sẻ. Yêu. Và có khi ngủ cũng ngoài đường. Thì hỗn độn đó. Nhưng đẹp. Đẹp lạ lắm. Thì không cầu kỳ. Nhưng mà ngon. Ngon không tưởng. Đường phố tạo nên chúng ta. Chúng ta làm nên đường phố. Không hoàn hảo đó. Thì sao? Vẫn tự hào. Cảm hứng tự hào từ đường phố. Bitis Hunter Street. Tự hào made in Việt Nam.
There, terrific work, I think, from Bitis there. So that's meaningful. On to accessible. And 2 aspects to this. First is really the battle for mental and physical availability. Byron Sharp, in his book, How Brands Grow, talks about marketing today is about winning the battle for mental and physical availability. If you like, the battle for salience. And if you haven't read this book, I'd suggest you do. It's kind of compulsory reading for anyone in marketing today. Second aspect of accessibility is making sure that you have an accessible and frictionless brand experience right across the customer journey. And with the explosive growth of e-commerce, it's really important that that frictionless customer journey extends to the online customer journey. This video illustrates perfectly how difficult some brands make their online customer experience. Make sure you're not one of them.
Hey, just that, thanks.
You sure?
Yeah.
Username?
Nick M?
No.
NM 1983?
No.
Zandy Pops?
Sorry.
Zandy Pops?
No, okay. Don't worry, I'll help. What's your postcode?
Oh, it's GU749ZT.
Welcome back, Nick Forever. Please listen carefully to this bread license agreement before continuing with your purchase of a loaf of bread. If you do not, blah, blah, blah. You also agree not to use any bread-based products for any purposes prohibited by United Kingdom law, including without limitation the design, development, manufacture of missiles, chemical, nuclear or biological weapons.
Tick.
I'm afraid you've timed out.
What? Sorry. Hello? Excuse me. Oh, yeah, hey.
Just one loaf, sir.
Yeah, we just...
What's your username?
It's Nick Forever, but number 4, not the...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to check that you're a real person. Could you say that for me?
That's not even a word.
Okay, how about this one?
You know what? Forget it.
Or this one?
Hippo Potter mice.
You're in.
Great, I'm in.
£8.85.
It's supposed to be 98 pence.
Plus express delivery.
What's that?
Oh, well, it's express delivery. It's fast. So there's, standard. Standard delivery, that's £4.99.
Why?
Bread insurance. You didn't untick the don't decline bread insurance option.
You know what? I think I'll risk it.
It is quite close to the sell-by date.
Don't care.
98 pence it is. If you want to pop back in 5 business days, it'll be ready for your collection.
Well, I need it now, obviously.
Oh, OK. You want the take-home today price? Well, that's £3.27.
You know what? I'm going to go.
Come back soon.
I won't.
Dear customers, this call will be closing in 10 minutes. Please proceed to checkout. Please proceed to checkout. Thank you.
So how easy are you making it for your customer to access your brand online? Now, one of the things that we should be doing is prioritizing investment in the biggest pain points of the business across that journey. So from the pain of recognizing the need and want, to the pain of finding and choosing, the pain of ordering and paying, the pain of getting and using, and the pain of after-sales service. And it's well worth conducting what we call an easy safari. It's a guided tour across the customer journey where you can assess for yourself how easy you're making it for the customer to access your brand. This is a terrific example of a company that really made their offering so much more accessible, but accessible in terms of being easy to afford, easy to buy, easy to get, and easy to use. And as a consequence of this, Gillette lost about 20% of its market share literally overnight to DollarShaveClub.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
So a good example there of a brand that really made its kind of experience accessible. So moving on now to distinctive, arguably the most important part of this. But before I go into the 3 reasons that, for distinctiveness, I want to spend a little time talking about why it's so important. Now, research from all over the world from different bodies shows that, roughly speaking, about half of all advertising doesn't break through. So if you've got a $100 budget, at least $50 of that is wasted if you're not breaking through that clutter. Of the advertising that does break through, again, about half of that is misattributed to another brand, usually the brand leader. So that means $75 of your $100 spend is already wasted unless you have advertising that breaks through and gets correctly attributed. So then you're left with the question, is your advertising persuasive? Will it drive purchase intent? So effectively a spend of $25 when you started off with 100. So this is why distinctiveness is so important. And 3 aspects to it. Firstly, are you unique within the category? Does your advertising break through the sea of sameness and category cliches? Which is particularly bad here in Vietnam. Most categories are simply a sea of sameness and cliches. This video I put together back in 2008 illustrates it well. It's for the infant milk formula category, and it shows how every single brand is doing exactly the same thing. As a consequence, no one is breaking through, no brand is getting correctly attributed.
What is about? There's something evolving. Whatever may come, the world keeps revolving. They say the next big thing is here, that the revolution's near. But to me it seems quite clear that it's all just a little bit of history repeating. People shout, a new style is growing, but it don't know if it's coming or going. There is fashion, there is fact. Some is good, some is bad, and the joke is rather sad that it's all just a little bit of history repeating. Woman, man, girl and boy, feel the pain, feel the joy, and sidestep the little bits of history repeating.
What's sad about that is that the category hasn't moved on. That video was made in 2008. And today here in Vietnam, it's still that sea of sameness and category cliches. So that's the first point. Second point is you must create a brand world that is ownable by your brand. And you do that through the consistent use of distinctive and ownable brand assets. And there are a number of ways of creating them. This is a very useful framework, 8 ways to build distinctive and ownable brand assets, from reinventing existing or historic brand assets to building a distinctive brand world, the use of a character, using jingles, audio signatures, catchphrases, taglines, using a consistent story selling framework, creating a unique brand experience across the entire customer ecosystem, living in culture with brand experience activation, or owning a unique and relevant higher order purpose, as well as delivering on CSR commitments. So that's the second aspect of distinctiveness. The third is about being consistent over time, visually, emotionally, and experientially. And here's a checklist that would help with that. So first of all, have you got a consistent brand story? One story distinctively told. A consistent brand world, brand voice, and distinctive brand assets. A consistent emotional response. One emotion always evoked. A brand that makes you laugh 1 minute and cry the next is a schizophrenic brand. You need to be clear on what single emotion as a brand you want to evoke. And then fourthly, a consistent brand experience across that entire customer experience. And brand experience is what makes the customer experience more meaningful and distinctive. So it's brand experience before customer experience. Lastly, a consistent story selling framework that tells your brand story and seamlessly integrates your product benefit. And there are 6 different roles a brand can play in story selling, from the transformer to the catalyst, the instructor, the rewarder, the metaphor, and the new world. And Snickers is a terrific example of a brand that uses a consistent story-selling framework. Snickers always plays the role of the transformer. You're not your true self when you're hungry. You have a Snicker, you're transformed back to your true self, as illustrated by this Mr. Bean ad.
别打你的二破拳了，来条 Snickers。兄弟，怎么样？
来劲了 ！You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers, get some nuts.
Terrific. So there we have it, MAD. Meaningful, accessible, and distinctive. And what I'll leave you with is a useful tool. We call it the MAD evaluation matrix. Unless creative work is mapping top right, it's not going to break through the clutter and not be correctly attributed to your brand in order to build brand power. So your advertising has to be highly distinctive and highly meaningful. Unfortunately, most advertising in Vietnam will map bottom right in conventional or what we call mirror advertising. But unless it's mapping top right, it's not going to create brand power. So is your advertising unexpected but unmistakably your brand? So there you have it, brand building the MAD way. I'd like to thank the MMA for giving me this opportunity to talk to you and thank all of you for your time today. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Mr. Storm, for your interesting sharing. Ladies and gentlemen, the next topic is omnichannel, the best way to keep strong engagement with your consumers. And see you in a few seconds.